You got my good side. You got my good side. On. Okay, great. So can you hear everything? Great. Perfect. Oh, not early? Okay. Am I supposed to I have to go ahead now? Good evening, everyone. Good evening, everyone. It is such a beautiful day and a beautiful opportunity to engage with our community. That's right. Did I get a hand clap already? Thank you. I appreciate it. And so I would like to welcome you all to the historic Ward Chapel right here in the heart of Prattville. This forum today is about community. Ward Chapel is seated right here by the creek, and we have members and folks who watch us online that are all over the city, the county, and the state. But we know that this is a space where we can come together and talk about things. We can learn about each other and fellowship. And before I finish my rest of my comments, please don't let this be your first or your last time coming to Ward, okay? This is an open invitation. You can come any Sunday. I think we start at 9 o'clock, okay? So you come on and visit us. So nevertheless, today we're hosted by the Historic Ward Chapel, our lay organization, along with Faith in Action Alabama, Rolling to the Polls, and also Montgomery Alumni Chapter of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority. We welcome you all, and we are grateful that you are here. A couple of housekeeping things. We have restrooms outside that door. Look around to your back. You see exit. There's the ladies and the men's restroom over there. There's water there. If you need coffee, pick me up. It's back in the back, and we also have restrooms back there. Darlene, did I cover everything? All right, so we're going to go ahead and get started now, and Sister Jamie, she is going to come and give us an opening prayer.
May we bow our heads. Father, in the mighty name of Jesus, we thank you for today, for everyone that's coming together and running for the different cities and state. And Lord, please bless us all as we travel safely back to our homes. Amen.
It is so good to see all of you here. Now, she's already told everyone who was sponsoring this event. One of the sponsors is Faith in Action, and I am with Faith in Action, and I'm also with a member of Historic Ward Chapel AME Church. And what I'm about to do is what we refer to as the credential. We do this at each and every one of our meetings. Now, Faith in Action Alabama was established in 2016, and it is a multiracial, multi-faith-based community organization. And we seek to honor God by dismantling systemic racism to create pathways of opportunities for all Alabamians. Now, the AME Church began after our first bishop, Richard Allen, witnessed Absalom Jones, who was praying, being pulled from his knees and asked to move to the back of the church. And they walked out of the church, and the rest is history. So the AME Church has a long history of fighting for civil rights and fighting to make sure that everyone is treated equally. The reason I am affiliated with Faith in Action is because of the legacy left by my grandfather and others in the community who fought for justice for everybody. The Civil Rights Act was passed in 1964. It's a very good year, the year I was born. Then the Voting Rights Act was passed in 65, the year my little brother was born. And since then, you know, there has always, from time to time, been a battle about voting, and there still is a battle about voting. It's important that we vote, but also not only do we want to vote people into office, but once people are in office, we want to hold them accountable. We want them to make sure that they are for all of the people, even the people who did not vote for them. And we all, as constituents, cannot always have our way, but we all want to make sure that everybody is treated fairly. And that's one of the things that Faith in Action fights to do. Now, I'm going to go over the rules. We have questions that we're going to ask. I'm going to begin with the questions to the mayoral candidates. And I'm going to ask the questions and have them come up and answer the questions. And we have 3 questions, and you'll all have 2 minutes to answer. And I'm going to go in this order. We're going to start with our current mayor, and we're going to come this way down to Mr. Mullins. But we have, like I say, we have rules. We have timekeepers. We have 2 timekeepers. One is the gentleman in the back, Mr. Rodney Arnold, and then we have Dwight Steele. And Dwight Steele is going to go first. And you have 2 minutes once I ask the question, or, you know, once you're in your position. And I think, just to keep it from looking like a crazy game of musical chairs, I'm just going to ask you all the 3 questions, let you answer your 3, and then we'll just move on down the line. And you don't have to take the whole 2 minutes. We're asking the council people to come up here to my right, your left. But when you get down to 1 minute, they'll flash this at you, so you know you have a minute left. And then when you get down to 30 seconds, we'll flash this at you, kind of like the traffic lights. And then when you're getting really close, 10 seconds, you'll get this one. And then you got to stop. If you don't stop, I'm going to stop you. Okay. I'm going to pass it. And if Mary Gillespie would come up. I made the horrible mistake of forgetting to bring my readers, so probably. Thank you. We must be related. Perfect. Okay. What is your top priority for Prattville, and why did you choose this area?
And may I ask which area you speaking of.
You're going to tell me what your top priority is and
Okay.
why you chose that to be your
Okay.
why you choose that.
Well, you know, Prattville is a very special place. I believe it is with that because Daniel Pratt set the stage for us all, whether it was in religion or in education or in his work values. And because of that, Prattville is very diverse. And I think that is one of the very benefits that we have here in Prattville, that we live so close together and get along with each other. But, you know, one of the things that was taught to me many, many years ago is that there's a lot of things that can be taken away from you. You can have a house one day, and it can be taken away. You can have a car one day, it can be taken away. The one thing that cannot really be taken away is education. And education is a very big equalizer for so many things. Because with an education, you can get a job. And with that job, you can get that house. And hopefully no one will take it away from you. With that education, you can get a car. But besides with all that, there's so many things that a municipality is, which is a service-oriented organization to serve the people here, whether it's some of our core services, our police, our fire, public works, our sanitation, and also a lot of our infrastructure when it comes to stormwater, wastewater, and actually Prattville's a little bit unique when it comes to our water board. It is not a true entity that is operated day to day by the governing body. It is a board appointed by the council, and they operate individually. But one of the big things that really needs to be taken effect is that we all treat each other like we want to be treated.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
I found one. I appreciate
Okay.
it. Okay. How will you build consensus and work with the city council and other officials, even those with differing viewpoints?
That's very easy. Communication, communication, communication. You cannot over-communicate. You can't under-communicate. And a lot of times, as we are different children of God, we do communicate different. Some is in the written form, some is in the speaking form, and some is just in action form. But as the mayor, and there are 7 districts in Prattville, but as the mayor, I'm over all 7 of those. And so I'm looking out for each and every constituent of Prattville. But again, too, our core services are some of the main things that we hope is what our citizens are really looking for. Now, there have been times that with the city of Prattville, we've been asked to look at things broader than what just the city of Prattville normally does. And sometimes that's with some county friends, or sometimes with state friends. But through building relationships and partnerships, that is the best way to communicate with others and make certain that we serve the community that we all are here to serve.
And your final question, how will you ensure that the city's resources are allocated effectively to address the entire city of Prattville?
Well, there's several different ways on that. Budgeting is one. Different programs that we have put in place, which enterprise funds were not in place until I came into office in 2011. The type of budgeting that we have gone to, a line item type of budgeting, has been very beneficial to the community as well. Our department heads know that we have a very good work ethic, and it's some of the one-liners out there is basically, you know, you inspect what you expect, and they know that I am a mayor that has boots on the ground, and when I have a citizen that calls me that has an issue, I generally go out on site. Because a lot of times you can use some technology. Wish I had my phone with me, I left it over there. A lot of this technology that is out there can be utilized to its fullest. It's actually basically a force multiplier. And if we can use a lot of those force multipliers to help our employees be beneficial to their role to serve our community, that is a win-win for us all. How much more time do I have? 1 more minute? Okay. You know, one of the things talking about our employees is that as a service-oriented organization, we really have to have several things. People and equipment are the top 2, not necessarily in that order. You can have great people, but if they don't have good equipment, what good, they cannot accomplish the jobs as much as they need to. And one of the things that we have been able to do here in Prattville, we watch closely over our employees, is what I call a doc in the box with the city of Prattville. 30 seconds, so I better hurry up. To make certain that our employees stay healthy and on task with their jobs, and also very beneficial to their families, because families are important to us all. We have created a doc in the box that our employees can go to and be able to get a doctor's prescription and without hardly waiting in line. Okay, thank you.
Appreciate that. Okay, so we're going to go on to the next person, and this is going to be Mr. Devin Moore. And I'm just now meeting Mr. Moore, and it's so nice to meet you, sir. And I'm sure your memory is better than mine, but I'm still going to repeat the questions. What is your top priority for Prattville, and why did you choose that area?
My top priority for Prattville would be housing affordability and rent. Main reason for choosing that area is that as a young person, it'll be very difficult to afford a home around here, so that's the main reason I chose that.
Okay, the next question, how will you build consensus and work with the city council and other officials, even those with different views?
Like the current mayor is saying, mainly communication, try to meet with council members one-on-one, try to meet with staff one-on-one, try to, hopefully get rid of mindset, come to agreement on policies and stuff, and which stuff we need to pass for the city.
How will you ensure that the city resources are allocated effectively?
On that part, see, now I know District 2 sometimes get neglected a lot. I let a form a committee that'll go around and see, they'll pretty much do a review of each district and see exactly what each district needs. So that'll be one of my main things I'll do as mayor. Make sure all our resources allocated correctly to each district. All right. Nice to meet you.
Okay, Mr. Miller, this is our next candidate. David Mellon.
Thank you. David Melling. While the mayor alluded to education, I think we all need to be a student of learning no matter where we are and where God has placed us. And in that, I feel that collaboration, which leads into how do I bridge consensus when folks don't agree with me. And in a sense, I would prefer that, because that means that collaboration plus contention equals creativity. And only by bringing people to the table and willing to listen to understand without listening to answer can we bring about creativity. To be able to willingness to work together for the betterment of the community, which then leads on to the resources. Again, realizing that everybody brings, and all the council ladies, represent their districts and their needs to the table. And together, we can really revitalize the enthusiasm of the citizens. So setting clear expectations, providing the right tools, removing the obstacles, and then let me get out of the way and let the people do their work. So thank you. Questions into the idea.
You're brilliant. That explains something to me, because I was like, and you just...
I just kind of rolled them all together.
Okay, well, thank you so
You're
much for
welcome.
doing that.
Sorry I didn't communicate with you.
Oh, no, you did just great. Thank you. Mr. Gardner. The first question for you, sir, is what
choose Prattville because Prattville is my home, and my priority would be to make sure that everybody is treated fairly at all times. I love Prattville, and the objective here is to build a relationship with all the people in Prattville. Working with, that's where your line of communication come in, and that's when you get with your council and you talk to them and you talk to the community as well, and members of your community that are affiliated with all the council members. If you got a situation, they'll tell you how to resolve it. If you got a situation, you don't ask a question, you don't get an answer. So you work with your citizens, you work with your council, and then you can get everything resolved. And you can have fun doing it. See, I'm working with you.
You're working with me. I need somebody to work with me, I really do. How will you ensure that the city's resources are allocated effectively to address the entire city of Prattville?
That's a good question because from my background, which is accounting, I love numbers. And from my background as a contractor, as a general contractor, I enjoy building things. And we don't take anything for granted. And the most important thing is making sure that everything that we do is accountable for the city of Prattville, and working with the staff, working with the council. And when you do that and you work together as a team, you can get everything resolved without questions, and everybody will love it.
Thank you. And now, Mr. Mullins.
Thank you very much. Glad everybody's here today.
Now, sir, what is your top priority for Prattville, and why did you choose this area?
That's a tough question. Prattville has a lot of needs right now. But if I had to pick one need, I'm going to say education. As I'm out there talking with people and our educators, I mean, there's a big disconnect right now. When I talk to some of the educators, they feel beat up, they feel left behind, they don't feel like they have the resources that they need to move forward in a good, positive way to teach our children. There's a big need for facilities. I mean, with our expanding growth that we've had, it's taxed a lot of our infrastructure, it's taxed our schools, it's put a lot of load, you know, on all the things that we have going on right now. So I want to be the one to go meet with Lyman Woodfin. I've already had a good meeting with him. I've seen his vision. I've heard his vision. I believe in his vision. There's going to be a lot of work that's going to be done, need to be getting done to get that vision done. So I want to be the one that partners with the Autauga County BOE to help them move forward with the facilities that they need to accommodate this growing, the growing citizenry that we have right now. So I want to be the one that comes in and helps them do whatever they need to do to get it going, whether it's partnering with CAC, Central Alabama Community College, to help with a vision possibly out there with a new high school out there at their campus out there, to implement his vision that he had. I believe in his vision, that we can work together. The students can come out of there. They can move right over into the Central Alabama Community College. And then we can also align and move the junior high up to the old high school that we have right now. So that would take some load off of that. Don't know what we can do to resurface or I don't know the word, recycle it or whatever, the old junior high school. We'll do something with it. We'll do something with the junior high, but take the junior high and move them up to the high school that we have right there now.
Thank you. I thought it was going to be time for me to get aggressive.
Oh, sorry. Sorry, I couldn't think of that one word that I wanted to do.
I can imagine.
Not resell it, not do something, but to do something with the junior high. Mayor, come on, help me out there. What's the word?
Renovate.
Repurpose. There you go. Thank you. Repurpose. I couldn't think of repurpose. So sorry about that.
That's all right.
Reset. No, I don't want to well, we could refurbish it, but anyway, next question. Sorry.
Okay. How will you ensure the city's resources are allocated effectively to address the entire city of Prattville?
what I would do is, as mayor, you know, the mayor, he is, works for handles the policies, and he's the CEO, so he does all the day-to-day activities that takes place for the city. So he works based off of what the city council puts forward, whether it's the policies that they put forward and procedures that they put in place. So I would work closely with them. I would encourage each one of them to go out into their districts, have quarterly meetings, at least quarterly meetings, to bring forth the information to us as a whole, as a governing body, to help all people. So my main thing would be to communicate with the council to get out there and work with the citizens in their district. And then I would be out there, boots on the ground myself. So I'm going to be the leader for the whole city. So I'll be out there myself in all the districts with boots on the ground myself. So I want to be the one. I want to be a person for the people that gets out there and listens. That hears all the things that they have going on and what their needs are. And then I want to be able to collaborate with the council to what I heard to make sure it aligns with what that they're saying, that I hear the same thing in all the districts.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate
I
it.
got one more, though.
Don't I have another?
I asked you, what is your top priority for Prattville?
Yeah, that's
Okay.
cool.
How will you build consensus and work with the city council and other officials, even those with differing viewpoints?
Okay. Is that it?
And then I'd ask you how, I'm sorry, I'm senile. I didn't ask you number 2? Okay, number 2. How will you build consensus and work with the city council and other officials, even those with differing viewpoints?
Well, here's the thing. Martin Luther King Jr. said, we may have all came here on different ships, but we're in the same boat now. So we all have to work together. All communities have to work together. So being that we all come together, we might have committees from different districts along with the city council member to bring forth ideas that they need for their actual districts. So I think the council members need maybe to go out in their district to form some committees to help bring forth ideas to the council that they can bring forth to everybody else. So we all gotta work together in unity. So we all deserve a fair shot here, and we just gotta work together.
Thank you.
Okay.
And I apologize.
No, that's okay.
Okay, now we've asked the questions of all the mayoral candidates, and it is now 6:25. We are actually ahead of schedule. And yes? That'll be great. Okay, could we get you to do that, please?
I'm Dennis Mullins, and I lived in the city of Prattville for 60 years, and I'm looking to be your next mayor. Thank you.
I'm Reuben Gardner, and I live in Prattville for 73 years. Prattville is my home, and I'm looking to be the next mayor before him.
How do you follow up with that? I'm David Melling, and I've been here for 17 years, and I now call Prattville home.
I'm Devin Moore. I've been here for 8 years, and I'm hoping to be the next mayor.
Bill Gillespie Jr., live at Washington Street, 129.
Thank you. I greatly appreciate that. I just want to take a moment before we switch over to the council that I want to thank everybody. I want to thank all the mayoral candidates that showed up tonight. I really do appreciate it. I thank all the council candidates who showed up, and then all of you who came. I really want to give thanks to all of the people who worked with me to get this done. Everybody can't see them all right now, but y'all, if y'all don't mind, just stand up for me, please, because I can't even see you. But it was just so nice that when you ask somebody. Sister Barnes is not in here. I think she went back to the media room to do something. But it's nice when you ask people if they will help you do something, and they sincerely want to help you do it, and they get in there and they help you. Now, I want to just check and see. Everybody probably didn't get to sign in, but we do want to see that you sign in before you go, and we'll try to get with you before we leave for the evening. And we are a little bit ahead of schedule, which means that we might be able to get some extra questions in, because we do have extra questions. And now we will have the council, and Ms. Rudolph will come up and she will handle that. And thank you so much, and thank the Deltas for getting all the council candidates here for us.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Andrew Rudolph. I am the Social Action Chair for the Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated, the Montgomery Alumni Chapter, and I'm here to facilitate the questions for our City Council. So I would ask, I don't know you, I'm sorry, I apologize, but when I give you your first question, will you please stand up and introduce yourself, and then we can proceed with the 3 questions, okay? So our first candidate, we'll start from this end. Okay, okay, back here, okay. Can y'all shield for me? Yeah, that'd be good. Yeah, scoot together like y'all not running against each other. Okay. Well, since you're already standing up, sir, we'll go ahead and let you come on up. Come, you already up. Come on. Yeah, you're already up. No need of you sitting down and getting back up again. Okay. Can we get your name, sir?
Marcus Jackson.
Okay, we're Marcus Jackson. Okay, Mr. Jackson. What prompted you to run for City Council?
I ran for City Council back in 2016. I saw an opportunity to do a little bit more for my community. I've volunteered and mentored and worked with a lot of young people in our community, and I saw an opportunity then. I said, you know what, I need to be involved on another level for my community. And it was no disrespect to Councilman Wood, who happened to be the first African American selected to the council back in 1988. And I often tell people, when I was 14 years old and he lived 2 doors down, and to me, when he won, when he was elected to city council, that was equivalent to President Obama being elected president. So it was an exciting time for our community, and I knew when I stepped into the position, I took the position seriously. I knew what was at hand and what was at stake. So I just saw an opportunity, and like I said, no disrespect to him, but just go to another level of representation for our community. I had an incident that happened at the high school with a couple of my students one night, and I looked at my phone and I said, who can I call in my community right now to help me with this particular situation? And like I said, no knock against him. I just realized I didn't have anyone that could possibly relate to that situation. And that night, and it was January 2016 at a basketball game at Prattville High School. That was the night I decided to make a run for the city council.
Thank you for that response. Next question. What actions will you take to ensure that improvements are made in all districts and not just specifically your district?
What actions? I think over the last 9 years, I've been willing to work with everyone on the council, the mayor, everyone, to ensure that improvements were made all across the board for all districts. I think I've said the other day, sometimes you wish and hope that you have that type of cooperation across the board, especially when it comes to a district such as mine, District 2, that I feel, and a lot of our people feel, that's been neglected at times throughout the years. You know, we have made some significant improvements in some areas in the district, but I would like to see us do more improvements, and I would love for our people of District 2 to realize that those improvements don't come on the back of just one individual. Like I always say, I'm just one of 7, but it takes cooperation from the other 6 members on the council. It takes cooperation from the executive staff and others. But I think our people in our district need to realize that we need to be more proactive. We need to be more involved because, again, we can't put all the pressure on one individual's back because those decisions to represent our district and represent our city isn't just on one person. It falls on everyone. And like I said, I'm just one of 7, but also if we don't come together and realize what's going on and what's needed, then we'll continue to, I say, be neglected in our district. So again, get involved, get engaged, and not just during this time, but throughout the quadrennium. Because again, we have many needs. I always say, look at North Highland Park, look at some of those areas. Again, those are not going to get done unless it's all of us taking action and being a part of that.
Thank you. Last question. What are your top priorities for the city of Prattville and why? And don't forget your 3-minute limit.
2 or 3? I thought you said 3. When does it start? I went 3? Okay. Of course, education is number 1. Being an educator in the Target County schools now for 19 years. I walk the halls of every school in this district as a behavior coach, but and I see that we have a significant need, especially in some of our schools that are older. Many of you that come to the council meetings, I've strongly advocated to reallocate more of that one penny. That one penny will generate $9.3 million this year. And like I said, back in 2021, when we decided to continue with the penny, I didn't feel like we had a good enough plan for it at the time, so I voted against it. But now I would love to see at least 50% of that one penny go towards education, especially with the current school system leaders that we have. They are willing to work, they are very transparent, and they're in need of a new high school built over here at CAC on 100 acres. So I think it's an opportunity that we have to, and it's a priority that we need to step up and help them, because I think there's been no other time like now that we've have a school board that's on board with the city, and we all need to work together to make this happen, because you got to look at workforce development, jobs, you got to look at the future of the community, the military, and look at what's happened to other communities that did not invest in education, did not invest in the military. Look at Selma, places like that. So if we don't invest in education, we're in trouble. And also, we need to prioritize paving, stormwater drainage, especially throughout the city, and especially District 2. Thank you.
Thank you. You can tell he's an educator, right? Okay. Next. Good evening. Good evening.
So my name is Melissa Strickland, and I'm running for District 1.
Thank you, Ms. Strickland. First question, what prompted you to run for city council?
Well, first of all, Mr. Strickland was a wonderful council person. He asked hard questions. He investigated before he made decisions or voted certain ways, and I really respected that. I didn't know him on a very personal level, but I know that a lot of people really respected the job that he did. And so when he passed away and there was an open call, I said, you know what? I feel like maybe I have something to offer. People describe me as level-headed. You can change my mind. You can change my mind. Today at school, I'm a teacher. I was teaching rhetorical appeals, which is how do we persuade people to believe the way we want to believe? And so how we persuade people is we tell them about facts. We talk to them about needs, and that's how we prioritize. And I think if you get somebody in office who maybe isn't interested in having their mind changed, that's not a good thing. So when I decided to run, I thought, I hopefully have something to offer, and I also deeply care about this community, even though I'm not originally from here. I am 25 years invested. That is my key word, is invested. I've taught the children, and now telling my age, children of children. And I also, again, have spent my money here. I have a house here in the same district for 25 years. And also, when my grandchildren grow up, I've said this before, I want them to experience the Prattville that I have grown to love over these 25 years. I'm not going anywhere. I have spent my time, my money, my sweat, my volunteer hours here in Prattville, And I just want to serve for that reason.
Thank you. Next question. What actions will you take to ensure that improvements are made in all of the districts, not particularly just yours?
Well, I can't. And this is kind of a simple answer, but obviously there's a vote, right? And so we do know that sometimes squeaky wheels, right? You have to be vocal about things you need in your community, but I should also expect that the other council people will be squeaky wheels. So we're going to take all of those issues, because that's our job, is to be the squeaky wheel for our district. And then we're going to take that information, and then we're going to decide as a council, how do we prioritize that again? Of course, the mayor, city attorneys, planners, all the other people whose job it is to help us understand how to make those things happen. You know, maybe District 2 really needs this thing, but as a council person, I've got to listen to the city planner who says, maybe we can't do that, or let's table that. This happened recently, right? We have to go back to the drawing board. We have a plan. Let's try this plan. And so, you know, we have to, yes, represent our people, but obviously represent our city as well.
Thank you. Last question. What are your top priorities for the city of Prattville, and why?
Okay, well, I teach school, so of course, right? It's so just a cliche. But let me tell you, I noticed the 4 little displays up here in this beautiful chapel, and it reminded me of the pillars, right? So education is a pillar, and if the pillar gets chopped down, you lose strength, okay? So all of the other things that candidates are talking about, economic development, people coming in and wanting to build, businesses wanting to spend their money in our town, those things don't happen if you don't have a good education system. Military families in particular, and other families, they do their homework. They look online. And I have to tell you, our education system has done a great job. We had a slogan a few years ago that got some slack about we do the most with the least. And that's great. But let me tell you, we talk about infrastructure for education. Let's talk about teacher units. Let's talk about aids that are needed for special needs students. Yes, we need a high school, but hey, can we just like hire a few more people at my school to help wrangle children and make sure all the needs are met? I don't think most of the teachers in this county, and forgive me if I'm speaking for them, the biggest problem is not whether they have a cracked window. It's whether they can meet the needs of the children who are in their rooms. And that comes with people and resources to teach, computers, all the things that cost money. So yes, education for me is the most important, because again, if you don't have that pillar, the house can't stand up.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Our next candidate, your name, sir.
Hello, my name is Jimmy Hyde III, and I'm running for District 3 City Council.
First question, what prompted you to run for city council?
Well, Prattville is a growing city, and it's growing, and it's very diverse right now, and it's really on the move. And me, with my background in banking and building out teams and going to different markets that was struggling to perform and building those markets out, I understand the power of diverse, different ideas and working together and finding a root cause for something and building it out. So that's the reason why I wanted to be a part of this council, because I see it growing, and I think new blood and new ideas would take our city to the next level.
Awesome, loud enough. What actions will you take to ensure that improvements are made in all of districts, not particularly just yours?
I think, you know, listening, assessing the data, looking at reports, seeing the needs, seeing the risk in all of our districts, working together with our mayor and city councilmen to assess those needs and risks, and whichever one need is more, I think as a group we can come together to work together to better the people of Prattville, because we all are the people of Prattville when it comes to the needs of these different districts. And so I think that's how I will approach the situation, to make sure everyone across the board gets treated fairly when it comes to the needs of each one of these districts.
Thank you for that response. Last question. What are your top priorities for the city of Prattville and why?
Well, education, workforce, and economics, and business. Starts with education. Without an education, no business wants to come to a city, because every business that wants to hire and come to a city looks for educated people to employ. Is that correct? Makes our city look great when we have educated people. Also, when you think about the partnership that we can have with Maxwell and Gunter, it's very important that we distribute more funding to our school system. And then we have a technical school right in our backyard. I think it's a technical school, the community school. So if we can increase some allocations to our school system to partner with our community school, we can have a pipeline that's going right into local businesses, right into Maxwell and Gunter, and continue to grow our city, and they won't be let out and go into other cities to prosper, right? Also, small businesses. I'm an advocate for small businesses, and I think if we put more money in education and educate our people, we can do some incentives with our small business owners to hire these individuals that's in our school, technical school, our community school that we have here in our backyard. And that would give our small businesses a break from all of the lack of resources that they have to hire new employees that are educated from our own and to build our own. And so that's what I want to stand for.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Our next candidate. Good evening.
Hi, my name is Wade Newman. I'm running for City Council for District 1.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Newman. What prompted you to run for city council?
So the biggest reason that I decided I wanted to throw my hat in the ring and join the city leadership was because I, as a lifelong resident, realized that there was a need for leadership. And I think that's a key thing. If you ask the rhetorical question, what do you remember most? Important are key leaders or important key administrators? I don't want to be an administrator for my city. I want to be a leader. And in order to be a leader, I think you need to understand the community. You need to be able to understand the focus of what in front of you needs to be dealt with, and then shift that focus if needed. So, you know, for me, it's just providing quality leadership for the community that I care about.
Thank you. What actions will you take to ensure that improvements are made in all districts, not just particularly yours?
So this goes back to the leadership aspect. The first thing I would do is take the ego off the table. The second thing I would do is realize that as a community, a city, we survive together or we fail together. So taking the ego off the table, realizing that this district may have a specific need and that district may have a specific need, but we got to collaborate to figure out which one is priority. A lot of people will tell you we can just logically look at this, but we know that logic doesn't always work. I can logically explain stuff to my wife or to my kids, and they can argue with me all day long. We don't need to do that. So I use the analogy of evangelism. You don't talk to somebody about religion without getting to know them, having a meal with them, and being a member of that community with them. You can go in all day long, I can tell you as a former soldier, and order somebody to do something, and they may do it, but it's going to create problems, it's going to create strife. I love my hometown, and I want my hometown to work together, and putting it first is how I do that. Collaborating as a community is the second way.
Okay, thank you. What are your top priorities for the city of Prattville and why?
My top priority is to be a member of the community that can look at the things the city needs. I can stand up here and tell you about industry, economic development, I can stand up here and tell you about education, I can stand up here and tell you about infrastructure. Those are all issues that every city in the United States deals with. And I agree with everybody that's talked about education. That's the number one priority, because we build a community to have children, and we want our children to be educated, we want our children to work. But the key thing that we need to make sure that we do is work together to make that happen. We don't build football stadiums just to have them, we build them for our kids to be in. We don't just build schools for our kids to go to, we build them for them to be educated in. So, you know, what I want to make sure that we do is understand that we are a community, we need to work together, and we need to shift our focus when we need to address the things because we care about each other and not because we want our district to be number one or this, you know, area. A lot of focus, a lot of things have changed in Prattville. You know, we're not the same Prattville we were when I grew up in the 80s. We're backed up against the river. can't develop that way. We've grown as far as we can to the interstate. We've got a city up above us now that used to not be there. Our growth is limited. Pike Road is a big city now, or becoming a big city comparable to us. Millbrook used to be our little brother, and now they're a millennial with some money in their pocket. The dynamics have changed around us. Our mindset has to change. We have to work together. We have to come together. We have to put Prattville first. When I joined the Army back in the 80s, I left my hometown, but my hometown never left me. And I want to make sure that I give it that attention that it deserves.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. All right, next candidate. Good evening. Introduce yourself for us, please.
I am Jackie Nix, and I am running for District 6.
Okay, Ms. Nix, what prompted you to run for city council?
Honestly, I didn't have this on my bingo card to start with. What prompted me was that I saw the need that we needed a choice. We've had far too many of elections where there has not been people running against. So I felt that I have something to offer to the city of Prattville and to District 6. I have very unique skill set. I have very unique experiences where I have lived in other areas. I'm originally from Ohio, lived in North Carolina, Virginia, South Carolina. But like Melissa had said, I've been here for 25 years. I've chosen Prattville as my home. Prattville is where I've raised my child, and this is where I have set down roots. So I feel that we can do better, and as was mentioned before, we aren't the same Prattville that we were when I moved here 25 years ago. We are a very vibrant city. We're over 40,000 people now, and we need a mindset of going as a larger city and not so much the small town.
Thank you. Next question. What actions will you take to ensure that improvements are made in all districts, not just particularly?
So I'm a scientist, and as a scientist, I go by data. I want to see the impact studies. I want to see the numbers. So yes, being an advocate, as Melissa has stated, for being that squeaky wheel for my district, but overall, we have to work as a team, the mayor's office, the city council, and all of the city's departments. We have to work as a team to move forward. And hopefully, we're going to do that well-informed and not just going by gut instinct or fealty to a certain ideology. And also, as a scientist, I can be swayed by data. Even if it goes against my personal beliefs or my personal, I think that this should be done. If the data states, we follow the data.
Thank you. What are your top priorities for the city of Prattville and why?
So, education. I moved here 25 years ago because Prattville had the best schools. That is exactly why I chose Prattville. I could have lived anywhere in the area because my job was in Montgomery. I came to Prattville because of the schools. I want other families to choose Prattville because of the quality of our schools. And as stated before, building that new school, that's tip of the iceberg. We have been the lowest funded 7A school for far too long. We have got to get together, put smart people in a room, and figure this out. We have got to figure out how to fund our education system so that we get back to the previous prominence to being the best school system in all of the river region. And to follow up on that, another thing is transparency. I'm very dismayed at the lack of transparency right now with the current government, and we can do that. We can change things simply of being more transparent in meetings, being more transparent in what we share on the city websites, just generally being more transparent and being more approachable and having accountability, answering emails, answering phone calls, and meeting with constituents. I've learned so much knocking door to door, and I have talked to so many different people, people who agree with me, people who disagree with me, and we have had such constructive conversations.
Last question. I asked you why top priorities, why, right? Top priorities for Prattville? Okay, all right, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's on. Go ahead.
I'm Thea Langley, and I'm running for City Council District 7.
Thank you, Ms. Langley. What prompted you to run for city council?
I made the decision to run for City Council. Like Jackie, I feel that every council member should have somebody run against them. I think we need to offer our people a choice. I think that a lot of us have been in office for far too long, and we become stagnant in our thinking. We become too inclusive of our bubble, and I think that change is beneficial and good.
Thank you. What actions would you take to ensure that improvements are made in all districts, not just particularly District 7?
So I'm going to kind of merge the last two questions, so I get more than 2 minutes. Right?
No, not about that.
Well, if I'm merging, I get 4. Isn't that right?
Bullet point, how about that?
Well, I'll take them separate then. So tell me the question again.
What actions will you take to ensure that improvements are made in all districts, not just specifically yours?
Okay, so I think a very easy way to answer that is to choose needs and practical priorities for the entire community of Prattville rather than just certain districts. We are a small enough community that we all will benefit from education, from infrastructure, from transparency, from collaboration with other entities. The way, in my opinion, one of the big issues in our community as it is right now is respect. Our mayor talked about there are things that come into our lives, and then there are things that exit our lives, and our home could be one of those. And the Robinson family, they've experienced that from their own community. I would never expect that a community would take away a family home of over 100 years, but it almost happened. And I am convinced that it would have happened if citizens like us would not have taken a stand, saw someone in need, saw someone that was being, in my opinion, targeted for whatever reason. I don't know why. I still don't know why. I feel like we should not fear our own city council. We should not fear our own city hall. We should not be picked on. We should not be retaliated against. We should be able to disagree, and it'll all be okay. But that is not the experience that I have had, nor is it the experience that others have had in our community.
Thank you. What are your top priorities for Prattville, and why?
Okay, so I get very passionate sitting down here. Education, education, education. Everyone is going to say education, okay? The people, y'all, the people that it matters to say education is our existing city hall, city council, our mayor. That's who. It doesn't matter really what all of us think, because we don't get a vote. You get a vote now. Everybody's singing education now. But in 2021, when Albert Strickland suggested that we have 3 buckets for this penny tax, okay, 3, in May of 2021, it was tabled. 6 weeks later, magically, we now had 4 buckets. Our school system gets 7.8% of a 25% bucket. So we can all stand up here and we can tout education, and it sounds great. It sounds great for the press. It sounds great for WSFA, but we aren't doing anything about it. We're not doing anything about it. There was an existing council member, I'm not going to call any names. He sent out a letter to his constituents the very next day after Lyman Woodfin got up in front of the council and kind of put out his ideas for education. Y'all, I glanced over it, and I was like, wait a minute. And then I slowed down, and I read it again, word for word. Not one word about education in a full-length paper of what he was going to do for the city of Prattville. Do your research. Don't vote just because you've always voted for this person. Vote for the priorities of our community, which is education.
Thank you. Thank you. Can we get all of our city council candidates to stand up and introduce yourself again?
I'm Thea Langley, and again, I'm running for District 7.
Jackie Nix, I am running for District 6.
Wade Newman, I'm running for District 1.
Jimmy Hyde running for District 3.
Melissa Strickland, candidate for District 1.
Marcus Jackson, District 2.
If you don't mind introducing yourself, please, sir.
Antonio Richards, Coach Bam Richards.
Coach Bam. Okay. All right, Coach Bam. First question, what prompted you to run for city council?
The time is right to do what's right. The time is right to do what's right. We have too many things going on in this community that we don't know about. We have to make sure we pay attention to details, look at the small things, look at the fine print, and do those things. We have to make sure we're vocal because we have one goal, and that's here to serve. We're here to serve the people of Prattville. That's what we're here to do. And that's my goal, is to serve the people of Prattville.
Thank you. What actions will you take to ensure that improvements are made in all districts, not just specifically yours?
Transparency, transparency, transparency. All right, if we all on the same page, because one thing that we do that's going on in the city of Prattville, our community is divided. The community is divided. When we learn to come together, come as one, our community will be successful. But number one thing I want to focus on is transparency, uniting the community to become one. That's what I'm here for.
Thank you. Last question. What are your top priorities for the city of Prattville and why?
Education, education, education. I'm a former educator. I'm a former coach. I strongly feel that when I first got up here in 2006, the two things they talked about was education and athletics. I didn't know about Prattville besides those two things right there. So education, athletics, that brings the team, the community together.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Ms. Darlene.
Thank you. You did an amazing job. Now look at the time, it's 7 o'clock. We had until 7:32. So, yes, I'm a weird one. Now, since we're all finished now, what we're going to do is I'm going to do a closing prayer and some closing remarks. And then if you all are willing to hang around a little more, we can get people to maybe ask you some questions. Are we okay with that? Okay. As far as the remarks go, I would again just like to thank everyone who showed up. I really do appreciate the fact that you came here. I appreciate the candidates showing up, and I appreciate the citizens showing up, because this shows that we care. We care about Prattville, and we care about the future of Prattville. And again, I thank everyone who came out and who worked with us. You know, I thank the Deltas for coming. Y'all did an amazing job rounding up the council people to come here, and you did an amazing job moderating. You really did. Thank you so much. We had some help from rolling with the polls, and then our church membership here at Ward Chapel. A lot of people rolled up their sleeves and helped to do this, and of course, Faith and Action. So thank you all so much. And now let me give the prayer, and then we will go on and see if anyone would like to ask a question of any of our candidates. Lord God, we come to you at this moment, and we thank you for everything that you have blessed us with. We thank you for the people who are running for public office. You did not create in them a spirit of fear, and we are thankful for that. And we're thankful for the talents that they possess. And we're thankful that they came out to show the citizens what they want to do for the city of Prattville. And we're just asking that you send people out to the polls, and then that they use the information that they have received, and that they vote their hearts, and they also vote for the people who do not care enough to vote, because sometimes those are the main people who need something. And then we also have to have a heart for other people, and I just pray that you continue to help us to love one another. Lord, we thank you for this evening. We thank you for all the people who came, and we thank you for giving us traveling graces as we go home. These and other blessings we ask in Jesus' name. Amen. Okay, so since the mayors went first, does anybody have a question in our audience that they would like to ask for the mayoral candidates? I see Reverend Savage. I saw your hand first, and I see two over here. Okay. Would you like to come up? I'll bring the mic. Do like Oprah used to do, walking around.
My question is, and I just want to toss this out for free, the high school. I went to Prattville High School when it was brand new. And I'm asking now, why do we need a new high school? And if we get the new high school, what happens with the old high school? And not so much of what happens with the old high school, but how are we going to fund the new high school?
Okay. I have been taking direction from people, and I have been instructed to just give 1 minute. Who wants to go first?
So, I was a graduate of Prattville High School in 1979. So I was a second graduating class from the old new high school. That was a long time ago. So I do see the need, and the need would be to be able to work with the junior high too, and move the junior high up there with a new high school to make it more modernized and be able to get more students in the new high school. Now, how we go about funding it is it's gonna have to be, we'll have to get in there and look at the finances. I mean, it's my desire to work with the 1 cent sales tax as well. My desire is to maybe do 50% of the 1 cent sales tax. So that's my desire. Now, is it going to be available to do? I don't know. I mean, I've got to see the finances when I get in there to see what it's all like now. We've been doing a lot of spending in this city right now, and it's you see it. A lot of spending and borrowing is going on. So I don't even know if the money will be there, with a new administration. So we'll just have to see. But my desire is to work with CAC and work with BOE to work something.
Mr. Gardner. Want to answer that question?
How would we fund a new high school? Let's not raise taxes. Let's get the citizens to work. And then once you work with the citizen and you work with the superintendent, it won't cost that much to fund a new school. Let's not procrastinate here. Let's make this thing. And I worked with Goodwin Mills and Kaywood, and we did a strategy plan in 2001, and many people don't know anything about it. But most of what you see in Prattville now came from some of the stuff that we did to make Prattville what it is. And to make that school work, it's a simple process. We just have to work with the citizens.
First thing I think we need to do is assess what the needs are, what needs in the high school, what needs of the infrastructure of the high school, how many students do we have coming into the area. And again, I like the reallocation of the 1 cent, and certainly seem to need to work with the council in reallocating some of that, as well as the ad valorem, thank you, needs to be county-wide, considering it's a county school system?
Funding the high school, I was hoping that we can possibly access state or federal grant money. So I see if there's any program out there where we could fund that school. That would probably be our best option, so we don't have to borrow like $150 million for a new school. So that's one of my plans right there. Hopefully try to access, grant money.
Thank you.
Thank you. Well, I think we all know this is a county school system here in Autauga County. Superintendent came to the city council meeting several meetings ago and presented basically some information that was laid out to somewhat of a plan for a new high school, which was $150 million is what they were guesstimating at. Some of the plans that he also talked about was relocating the children from the junior high over into the 30 seconds. So I mean, to hurry up then, to move them into the current high school. But one of the things that really has to be looked at completely is a total plan, a comprehensive plan of what are the needs. But again, this is a county school system, not a city school system. But all in all, what they were also revealed at that time was that with the junior high, they would actually put it out for sale. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, the council.
What was the question again? Well, I think we need to update in order to continue attracting young families, in order to continue to attracting military families from Pike Road, from Auburn, Lee County, now from Elmore County. I think that we absolutely need new infrastructure. We need capital improvements to the high school. I had a parent tell me when I was knocking on doors last week, that their child had to use their hotspot on their phone, and because everybody's got computers, everybody's got cell phones, and the internet is not, I guess the fiber optics or whatever, that's not my specialty. It's not adequate, 50 years ago when that school was built, we didn't have all of that. I don't care that it's a county school system. We are the county. We are a community, and we've got to support our community.
So I don't think that any of us sitting here right now need to have all the answers, because we have to get in there. We have to have the study of, exactly what are we talking about? How big is it going to be? What are going to be the amenities? What's going to be the price tag? What's going to be the long term? We don't have all the information in front of us to make an adequate answer to you. But here's what I will say. It is our job to get smart people in a room to go and get creative. We are surely not the only school or city that has this issue across the country. Let's go and look out in the wide world and see what other people are doing, and let's go and take the best of their ideas and get creative. Our children deserve this. We cannot fail.
So firstly, this isn't a question that can be answered in 1 minute. It just can't. So I'm going to just give you some things to think about so we can look at how complex this is. Basically, 60% of the students that attend the county school system are inside the city limits of Prattville. That is a fact. That means that we have got to address this issue one way or another. There are a lot of options. Do nothing is an option. We can work with CAC as an option. We can take it on ourselves as an option. But something has to be done. I liken it to an analogy. If across the street from me, my kids are playing in the living room of that house across the street, and he pays his mortgage on time, and he has homeowner's insurance, but his living room's on fire. Well, I'm not out there watering my yard. I can stand there and say it's a sad situation, or I can at least hose it down until something's done. We've got to figure out what we've got to do in this situation because things have changed. We're out of balance. Something has to be done to address this situation. We can't let it go.
With the growing, I mean, I know in my district, we are having a lot of military families coming in, and even in the city of Prattville. So I think that we definitely need to rebuild the school because we need new technology. We need STEM programs. And, you know, I would like to see a new facility with a wing dedicated just for STEM and for military students and the growth of that so we can have a pipeline again to Maxwell. Also with our STEM programs, because if we do not be competitive with educating them in math and technology, how are we going to compete with the other cities that has the things that we're competing with? So that's my reason why we need a new school. We need to allocate some funding to build this new school to better our children for the city of One Prattville.
Okay, so I'm going to get a little personal here. My husband now he's a teacher also. Last couple of years he's been at the junior high with me. However, for many years he was at Prattville High School. And if you watched the Tetris-like activities of fitting desks for 34, 35 kids in a room designed for 20, yes, the technology matters. We can usually figure out a way around that. If you've been in the hallway, especially in some of the older wings, the newer wings, they're built a little differently because, of course, code and time and numbers of students changed, right? So the problem is not every single part of the high school, or quite frankly, the gym. We had an assembly for 8th graders at the junior high today. The 8th graders fit on the bleachers. If we get the 7th graders in there, they sit on the floor. That gym is not designed. So again, this idea of like planning for the whole city, yes, we have to work on some things. So why do we need a high school? To fit the students we have in the growth we're going to have to continue.
All right, I would like to take a different approach on this. I'm going to, first thing we need to focus on is making sure the central office do their part too as well. You know, so if we move in schools, if we can turn around and talk about the new school that's being built, moving kindergarten, first grade, and preschool to that school, then second grade through 5th to Daniel Pratt, junior high to the old high school, and then the new high school to be 9th through 12th. One thing that we can work on is we can cut down on the administrators and things like that in order to accommodate some of those problems that we need for as money-wise and different things far as that. So I want to take a different approach when it comes to building a new school, but we have to be able to use our resources to do what, be able to use our resources to figure out what's the best strategic plan for it.
I think it's essential. I'm sitting here pulling up some information from the Montgomery Advertiser. So Prattville High School was built in 1977. So we're roughly at 48 years now. They had additions in 83, 90, 2002, 2004, and 2016. So that school's aging. I'm reading a post here where Superintendent Wolfen and I spoke, and on the post he talked about how this new high school would offer career tech and workforce readiness programs, access to CAC's career technology facility, a military preparedness wing to support students pursuing careers at Maxwell and Garner Air Force bases, 1 to 3-way educational pathway, high school, college to career. So those things are essential to the growth and
of our community. So I think we have to look at it. And then we do have a revenue stream in that 1 penny that generates $9.3 million. And if we allocate that towards the bump, oh, sorry. I was waiting for this answer.
I know that we have 13 minutes left based on the time that we had. And how about we just close out now, and if you all don't mind, if people would just come up to you and maybe have a conversation, would that be all right with you all? And that way because if we give everybody a question, so on and so forth, like we were doing, we'd be here way past my bedtime. So we're just going to close it out now, and you all can kind of mingle and, you know, talk to people about anything that you'd like to talk to them about. Brother Arnold, you have to, oh yeah, and we have, before you say that, sign-in sheets. If somebody did not sign in, could you please go ahead and sign in for me? I have some sign-in sheets up here and a pen. Thank you so much. If all the candidates could come up and let us get a picture of you all. Let me get out the way because I don't want to be in the picture. Okay. Y'all want me to move this podium?